The sun rises like it has for thousands of years, but today is different. Yesterday, Ray was bitten while on a supply run, and time is running out for him. We've all made a promise to end the suffering if anyone turns. Ray is sitting on the shore watching his last sunrise. Bastine is standing by, knowing it's not going to be a good day. Carol is the only other survivor left, and she is off making sure the base is secure. Patrols have become our new routine that we've become accustomed to. We are set up on Tom Sawyer Island at Disneyland. I came here as a twisted joke about what the world has turned into. I wanted to be at the happiest place on earth if I was going to be eaten by zombies. It turns out to be one of the safest places because zombies can't get through all the barricaded doors and stairs that the park has to offer. Carol worked at the park as a nurse and is familiar with how everything operates. It has been the three of us for the past few months. We're doing good. Bang! Now it's just Carol and myself. Let's get into this. Welcome to Solitary RPG. Opening scenes to me are an important part of any role playing game that you're playing solo or with a group because the opening scene really sets the tone for the adventure and puts the players in a situation or a decision point right away where they have to start rolling some dice. Now, I read the opening scene already, and when I was writing the opening scene, I kind of took some notes already about certain things that need to take place. We already need to make a roll right away. We need to roll for noise. And in this game, you roll a d6 on a roll of a 1. You've got the attention of zombies, and that's important. So we already have to do something. Also, I'm introducing Carol, and Carol is the nurse that worked at Disneyland and kind of knows the area. She's out doing a patrol. So, depending on what our role is, maybe she is going to run into some zombies trying to get across the bridge at Tom Sawyer Island. And if you're not familiar with Tom Sawyer Island, it's basically an island at Disneyland with water all the way around it, and there's a rope bridge that comes across. So it's a good secure spot because there's not like shorelines like a beach where they can just walk up onto the island. It's kind of built flat like a curb, like a square curb. So if zombies do get in the water, they can't get onto the island. They can just get up to the shoreline, but they can't climb up. So it makes easy pickings to take care of them. And also, real hard for them to get across the water because there's all kinds of things underneath the water to stop the zombies. So that's kind of what Carol's out. She's out patrolling. There was some cool results for Carol that are going to kind of create a thread for the story going forward. So originally, she was there with her boyfriend at Disneyland, so they were together at one point. But now, as the story unfolded, it's just Bastine and Carol. So something happened to her boyfriend, and we can actually play that out and have a little bit of fun with that because maybe she's keeping her boyfriend in one of the buildings and keeping him there just as some sort of psychological, like maybe one day they'll get a cure for all this and she can save her boyfriend. She is a nurse, a compassion person, so maybe she's playing into that, or maybe she took him out. So that would create a thread in our story. And basically, what threads are, they're just little stories that are out there. If you're familiar with the Mythic GM emulator, you kind of keep a list of threads going on the side of the worksheet that you're using, and they pop up every once in a while where you need to address them in gameplay. And her boyfriend would be one of those threads that we create. Also, the zombies are a thread. They're the bad, evil people that we're fighting. But also, rumors can be threads, locations can be threads, lots of things can be threads. They're just little pieces of story that you can pull from and put out there during your gameplay. And it's good to keep kind of track of those on a paper, like a sheet of paper or something off to the side, so that way when something comes up and you're Not sure what to do, well, maybe you pull from one of those threads and you run that story. In Mythic, it's a whole dice roll mechanic that's part of the game, but I'm not using Mythic for this. But I still use some of the concepts and principles from Mythic in my gaming sessions, and threads are a big one. So outside of that, we kind of have some action going on. We've introduced our character. We've introduced where we're staying. So we have a foundation for a good story. We have some questions we might want to ask and answer. So depending on what this role is, because this could create a combat scene, so we would stop everything we're doing and deal with the combat. Or it may not create a combat scene, so we may be able to go further and answer some questions. One of them is, why was Ray on the supply run? Are we out of something on the home base? Did we need something, or was he just out trying to get something that he wanted to eat? Like maybe he wanted a Dole Whip, so he went to the Dole Whip booth and got a Dole Whip and was coming back, and that's when he got attacked by zombies and got bitten. So we get to answer that. What's the current state of the home base? Again, ties into why was Ray on the supply run? Maybe something broke. Maybe something, we needed tools to repair a broken water line or something, and that's why he was on the supply run. Also, Carol's out on patrol. Maybe she discovers something while she's out on patrol, so that's could add to our story. What's the current state of Disneyland? So I want to have fun with this game. I'm not going to take it too seriously. So to me, I want to answer what the current state of Disneyland is, but it's not going to be doom and gloom. It's going to be basically Disneyland is kind of functionable, kind of like Dawn of the Dead. They're at the mall, power's still there, water's working, things are still functioning. However, you still need to survive. You still need to deal with conflicts and things. That's why we're on the island. We're on our safe little space in the world. But we want to maybe answer some other questions. Maybe California Adventures, there's a fire over there and it could drift over. We want to put some threat out there. Maybe there's just hordes and hordes of zombies, and that becomes the state of Disneyland. So these are questions that we get to answer. What do we get to do with Ray's body? So Ray is a friend, and we don't want to just leave the body on the island with us because it's going to decay and get gross. So we got to do something with that. We got to resolve it, and so maybe that's becomes our mission: is we're gonna go pay our respects to Ray and take his body over to the Millennium Falcon ride, and we're gonna prop him up right in the front seat of the Millennium Falcon ride and just let him sit there, and that's going to be his final resting spot. I don't know. That could become our story of what we do with Ray's body, but we do have to make a roll right away, and this is our noise roll, and this is going to determine what takes place moving forward. So I rolled a 5, so that means the gunshot that took Ray's life is no, it didn't attract any zombies, so we're good there. So now we can go in 2 other different directions. We can bring Carol back into the scene and have her maybe make a patrol role, like maybe ask the Oracle, is the home base secure? Or maybe we can just jump into, what was Ray on the supply run for? And just, Carol comes back. Why was Ray on the supply run? So let's ask an Oracle. So when I ask my Oracle a question, I want to be careful not to make the question too specific. I want it to be kind of a broad question. Were the supplies necessary for the home base? I'm not saying anything about Ray. I'm just saying the supplies he picked up, were they necessary for the home base? And my answer is yes and. So now we have this question answered. The supplies he went to pick up were necessary, and we need them now. And we need to go get those because maybe there's something bad going on. So one of the things in the main rule book under the sheltering phase is there is a chart on page 98, this simple chart. So the sheltering phase is actually a core mechanic of the game. However, it is like creating a zombie horde based on the number of survivors to make it work. So it's really not going to work with just running 2 survivors. It's going to fall a little flat. But I can use this chart still because it's just a simple D6 chart, and you just roll and I rolled a 5. It was medical supplies. So we are out of medical supplies. That is what Ray was picking up. And narratively, we're going to say he didn't bring them back with him because we got that yes and. So it was like, yes, it was something we needed, and he didn't bring them with him. So we need to go get them. We can just narratively say that when Ray was bitten, he was on the dock across the lake, and that's where he was attacked by some walkers, and they bit him there, but he dropped the supplies. So if we go back to our story and our question, it all kind of ties in now. He was on a supply run for medical supplies that we needed. He got attacked on the shore or at the dock, and he dropped the supplies. So now we have an urgency. We need those supplies. They're across the way. We can roll for a zombie horde, like how many zombies are over there, and that can create a combat. Or we can just kind of go over there, grab the supplies, and come back. This is where you get to be the GM, and you get to make some of these tough decisions. You can ask oracles. Again, I try not to roll as much as possible. I try to save my rolling for when I feel it's necessary. So what I want to do is I want to take what our result was. We had a yes and result for our question, and I'm just going to go ahead and use this to say that there was also 2 walkers over there on the shoreline because we had 2 successes, and that's what we have to deal with. So what we're going to do is Carol and I are going to jump into the canoe. We're going to row on over to the shore or to the dock. That's where the supply bag was, but there's 2 walkers over there. We're going to have our knives with us. So Carol has a machete and I have a kukri, and those are silent weapons. So we're going to row over there. We're going to get out of the boat. We don't need to roll for everything. Like, we don't need to roll. Do I get out of the boat safely and make a skill check? No, you want to limit your rolls, because in this game, if you roll more zombie heads than successes, that creates trouble, and that creates a complication, and that can create problems for your characters. So you want to limit your rolls. Even though a successful roll gives you a point of adrenaline, which is always cool, you still want to be limited, so you don't need to roll for everything. And that actually is talked about in the rule book. So I'm going to say they get out of the canoe fine. Bastien pulls out his kukri, and he's going to go slash at one of the zombies. So he needs to create his dice pool. He has a combat of 3. We're going to say this is going to be a fight roll, so he has muscle of 3. Fighting is one of his favorite things. He is an army vet, and he is good at it, so he is a fighter. And then the kukri gives him 2 more dice. So this creates my dice pool. Now, one might look at this and go, this is awesome. There's no way you're going to fail. All you need is 1 success. That is correct. However, if I get more zombie heads than successes, I also have trouble. And you narratively work that out. So, not necessarily a good thing to have a bunch of dice. You're rolling for 6s. So I played plenty of Warhammer 40k and Age of Sigmar and all those games, and 6s sometimes are hard to come by. So let's roll. So I have 2 successes and 2 zombie heads. So I do not have more zombie heads than I do successes. They match. So I do successfully take out one of the walkers. A little post-edit rules clarification. So when Bastien rolled the 2 successes and the 2 black zombie heads, I kind of paused during the video because my brain went a little bit sideways. Because I was like, well, these are re-rollable dice based on the rules. So just so you understand, when you have your core 6 dice, and that's why the collection of dice for this game come in 2 different colors. When you have your core collection of dice and you roll these, the result is what they are. However, when you start adding black dice into that mix, the zombie heads on the black dice can be re-rolled. The only reason I really didn't re-roll them, and I think that's probably why my brain went a little sideways, is because I already had the success, and there was no reason to, but I should have clarified that during the video. That's why we're doing a post-edit clarification on that. If you're not going to buy the zombie dice, then just make sure you use two different colored dice when you do your rolling, and your sixes and your ones are the results you're looking for, but just use different colored or different types of dice so you can tell them apart, making one your core set and your second set your additional set, which would be your black dice. My kukri does 2 points of damage. However, walkers only take 1 point of damage, and I'm not going to carry the damage over to the next zombie because I'm going to say, I'm only hitting one at a time. So Bastien takes out his zombie, and then if we go to Carol, she's going to fight also. She has her machete, but her dice pool is going to be different because she only has 2 in combat, 1 in muscle. Fighting is her favorite, and the machete only gives her 1 extra dice. So she's not rolling nearly as many dice. And she has a failure with no successes. So narratively, we can work this out a couple different ways. We can make the failure, maybe something happens on top of that. Maybe she slips and falls into the water. Maybe that's what happened. Or maybe we want to say, that might attract more zombies, so we can do a little bit of a different roll. Maybe we just do another, like a noise roll. Maybe her missing, she hit like a metal pole or something like that, and she made noise. So now we've got the attention of more zombies. So before we work out the new pool of zombies that will be coming our way, the one walker gets to attack back. Basically, the way the zombies attack is you add up the total strength of all of the zombies. That creates their dice pool. You roll, and on successes, they do attacks to the PCs. And that's just how it goes. So we only have a walker. It's only got a strength of 1. They get 1 die. Boom, they fail. So Carol misses the zombie. Maybe being on the dock, it got a little rocky, and the zombie swayed out of the way. Missed, hit a pole, that created noise, and we've attracted the attention of other zombies, and we still need to grab the bag and get on our way. So now we got to roll to see if we get a zombie horde and how big this horde is. We're going to take our 6 dice. We're going to roll. So this is going to create 2 more walkers and a runner. And then we need to determine how far away they are. They are at range band 3. So what we're going to basically have is 2 walkers and a runner at range band 3 away from us. So that's going to happen next turn. They just heard the noise. Carol hit. And we have a chance here of Bastien taking his turn, killing off the zombie, Carol grabbing the bag, jumping back in the canoe before these guys and gals come and attack us. So let's create Bastien's dice pool. It's going to be the same as before. And boom, he got 2 successes and 2 zombie heads again. That's what he rolled the last time. So he takes out the last zombie. And they're going to go ahead, and Carol's going to grab the supply bag, jump back in the boat. However, the zombies get to go, and they're only at range band 3, so the runner will be in base-to-base contact with Bastien, and the 2 walkers are coming up close. So Bastien can try to evade with his second action, because he's only taken 1 action, which was his combat action. So he can evade and try to get back into the boat so that they can take off. Or he can try to deal with the runner, but it's going to be kind of rough, and it's really going to make for a bad day. So he's going to try to evade. To evade, he needs to roll cool. So that's going to be his grit and his combat. So he has 3 for combat, 2 for grit, and that's not his favorite ability or anything, so he doesn't get any bonuses, so this is all he gets. Looking for some successes. He was successful, so he was able to evade. The runner jumped into the boat or the canoe, and they're rowing back over to the base. Nothing too exciting, but now we have that group of zombies sitting off on the dock. So that's going to be a future problem. So we might want to write that down as a thread, that those are sitting there so we don't forget. And and then we got to get back over to the island. We secured the medical bag or the supply bag, and we're going to open it up and see what's inside, which is always going to be fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask the Oracle, when making a supply run, one of the things you're going to, it's a zombie apocalyptic world. So you're going to grab whatever you want. So did he grab anything other than medical supplies? Was there something he saw along the way that he picked up that might be useful for the party? Or did he just grab the medical supplies and get back? So let's just ask that yes, no question. Oh boy, that's insane. He grabbed that was my roll. So it's yes and we're gonna drop these two ands. Now that if that was a zombie horde roll, that would really blow, because this would be 5 walkers, 2 runners, and an abomination. So that's how this mechanic works. It's a little bit stronger than the rules as they are written. But anyways, so we got a really successful roll, and so we're gonna have some fun with this. Again, I'm not trying to take this seriously. I am trying to have some fun with this game. So I'm gonna say yes, he got the medical supplies that we need. So we have medical supplies. We are all stocked up on those. And he also found a cigar for Bastine, which cigars are one of his habits. Maybe there was a cigar pouch, or because I don't think Disneyland sells cigars. Last time I was there, don't think they had them. But maybe someone had some. He found something on a person or a stash someplace, and someone had some cigars. So got Bastine some cigars. And he got Carol maybe a Mickey Mouse jacket. So nothing, I don't want to put anything too strong. I don't want to say he found a gun or he found ammo or any kind of special weapons. We could roll on the chart for that, but I want to have fun with this game. So now I'm going to tie these gifts that Ray found for his friends as the story. That's going to now create the rest of our story, because they're going to want to pay respects to Ray, their friend, and give him the burial that he wanted. And I'm going to go with the Millennium Falcon route, but not the ride. I'm going to say he wants to be at, if you've never been to Disneyland and seen the replica of the Millennium Falcon, I don't know if it's life size, but it's very large. But he wants to be sitting at the front seat of the Millennium Falcon. So that's going to become our story, and that's what we're going to have to do, is take his body there, pay our respects. If we're able to do that and survive, we have now accomplished the first milestone or the first goal of our adventure, and we'll gain the adrenaline that goes with it. And that's about it. We also are going to gain some adrenaline, at least Bastine is, for the 2 successful combat rolls that he made, plus the evasion roll. So he will get some adrenaline for those. So now he's all pumped up and ready to roll, and that's going to unlock his next skill. But the point of this video isn't the role-playing part of all of this. The point of this video is the importance of an opening scene. When you are starting to play any kind of role-playing game, you want to kind of jump right into some sort of an adventure or some sort of conflict. You want to be put into action. You want to have to make some tough decisions and do some things. And that's what, doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be 20 pages long narrative information talking about everything. Keep it short, keep it simple. Just give yourself some stuff to work on and then move forward. So what we've got going on is where we're living, where we're at. That's our home base. We are at Disneyland. There's zombies all over the place. We know those things. But our goal is to take Ray and give him a proper burial where he wanted to be placed. And that just came through conversations at night and just offhanded comments that have been made prior to this moment. And we still need to figure out, the state of Disneyland. We haven't really answered it, but it is a functional park right now. So we can add to that as time goes on. Maybe some things start to go awry. Maybe power generators start going out or water supply starts running out, and we may have to move on and go someplace else, or maybe our home base gets compromised. Maybe this is where we pull that thread, and it turns out Carol was keeping her boyfriend on the island, and he breaks free, and then we have to, make that moral decision to take him out. So we have some stuff to work with, and our story can start moving. So moving forward, I'm just gonna sit and play the game. I can play this for a while, just working out how we get Ray's body across the lake, and then how we transport the body from point A to point B. So maybe we need to go find some stuff, maybe like a dolly or a cart or something like that, like a trash cart. Sounds bad, but a trash cart, put his body in to get him over to the Millennium Falcon. Obviously, that's going to make a lot of noise, so we're taking a big risk. So we got to figure that stuff out and get his body there. But that's going to be our adventure. So thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye.